This is the other thing I want to look into. There's this like VTuber Maid Cafe that was announced with a lot of like pretty popular indie VTubers. We know a couple of them. You know, there's Pillow Deer, there's Nene, and Amelia. Yeah, they've announced this VTuber Maid Cafe. Huge big surprise, I'm getting a job at a maid cafe. Please come to see me during my shift, master. I'll do my best to serve you for lots of love and Yumi yum yum moi moi. Welcome our 8 new servers that you can meet at Arcane Maid Cafe in March. Tori Orion, Kiryu Crocodile, Fuzuki Miki, Nene Amano, Pillow Deer ASMR, and Emilia Fell. I'm glad Emilia's bouncing back. I thought it was really cute, but I don't know, it seemed like a great event, a great idea, but then there's been these posts. Guys, I know we love YouTubers, but please do not financially support this event. Arcane Maid Cafe has done some very bad things and should not be welcomed in this community. So I suppose it's the one that are, these guys are the ones being called out right now. More money is not a good idea. Recently, Arcane has been purposely scouting and hiring young girls in the Chinese community here because they are unaware of all their past issues. I believe that these practices are extremely predatory. I know with the recent rise in maid culture, many girls find themselves wanting to become maids themselves, but please everyone do research on where you apply because some of these places do not have your interest at heart. Pro tip, if you want to do call out, start with actually naming the person and listing his offense. Your opening statement here is vague, dismissible noise. This was not meant to be a call out, but a statement to my local mutuals who might not know. When the tweet started getting more traction, I put the specifics in the comments. Not mentioned yet in this thread. Is it Drew has also tried to sabotage the Light Blue Maid Cafe over the years by mass reporting their IG account and some of the maids' accounts? The fuck? As well as review bombing their Yelp listing, absolutely petty behavior. He's still actively doing this to this day, which leads me to believe he has not learned or changed at all. At VTuber fans of Anderson can't undo what's been done, but please consider not working on them in the future. More context in case they happen to see this. Yes, we all know why. It's because Anime Los Angeles is working with the most hated guy in the LA anime community after King Lee, his best friend, by the way, Andrew Kim, aka Drew, DLM, Drew's last name, CEO of Anifest. Known for allowing a known rapist, King Leon and Andrew Kim's best friend, to continue being the photographer and marketing assistant for Arcane Maid Cafe, even after several of his maids came forward, including some that were minors at the time, and allowed King Lee to continue having access to them via direct message and through events where the Anifest CEO Andrew Kim allowed King Lee to continue working at Arcane Cafe because they are best friends. Caught removing an artist's watermark to put on t-shirts to promote Anifest convention? Threatened a local artist, tried to lie about stealing the artwork and their miscommunication, and stalked the artist to try to silence her at various anime conventions in 2017 and 2018. Alright, this stuff is old. Publicly and opening made discriminatory statements about avoiding work with people with learning disabilities and autism on Facebook in 2016, using a flowchart showing who the Anifest CEO would not hire or let volunteer, actively censoring and silencing critics of Anifest and Arcane Maid Cafe, whether it's through using his bots to send fake reports or threatening actual real-life harm to critics and whistleblowers, grooming and stalking teenage girls from Arcane Maid Cafe, manipulating and abusing his arcade mates, discriminating against teens with autism and learning disabilities, allowed well-known predators and rapists to work as photographers at his Arcane Cafe, harassing and stalking girls in the anime community, trespassing and harassing at competing anime conventions? There's a Google Doc about him. Okay, pretty serious accusations if true, but no evidence provided so far. I don't know how much about the back end, but as a local to the area where it's at, the venue or place they're using is way too small to give a good experience. It used to be a quickly boba store before they converted to Arcane, unless they're pulling some Doctor Who space warping magic. You're not gonna get the authentic experience. I went there on the last day of the Hololive Cheer Up event and I agree, they have like 7 tables max and about the same number of parking spaces out front shared with a couple other shops next door. I also went for the Hololive collab during lunch. The maids at Arcane weren't dressed up or in characters, it seemed swamped with the rush of Hololive fans. Food was kind of meh. Well, the food at Maid Cafe is never good. Not like I expect much out of any collab cafe. One of the staff remarked about my Gora shirt and Kyle so seemed like she was in the know about Hololive. Based on 4chan posts, no links to any evidence. It can be true, but just posting doesn't make it so. If you're going to make Google Docies on someone, make a full Google Docie. Yeah, I agree with that person right now. After seeing this information, I kind of feel guilty about giving this place my money during the Hololive collab. The fact that it's also the closest maid cafe to where I live makes it sting even more. Allegations from 4chan. 4chan, when it comes to VTuber time, they've been on a streak of being right for a long time, so all the information to be taken too much at face value, it also shouldn't be ignored and dismissed. Source is 4chan, taken with a massive grain of salt, put it back on the shelf unless a better source comes along. Yeah, I agree. Problem is there's no evidence, it's all hearsay. True. I'm going to need more than a 4chan post. True. Some people on this sub really love spreading misinformation before researching and posting. Truth nuke. So I guess we'll just read through it and figure it out for ourselves. I am anonymously known as well, I was underage. Kinglin, aka Trace Wyvern, emotionally and essayed abused me starting July 2015 in Anime Expo 2015 when I was a minor, 17 years old of age. Like a lot of cosplayers who testified against him, he flaked on my shoots and objectified me, but he went above and beyond with me. Long story short, he manipulated me, gaslighted me, and lied to me, which eventually led to raping me in August 2015. This is more than essay, then. I cut him off in November and filed a police report months before personal accounts of other girls being harassed by him appeared this month. I also bear witness to many horrible things King said about people. A multitude of people have testified to similar experiences with King during photo shoots at conventions. This big document was created to help me compile evidence and receive from myself and others of his actions. Alright, disclaimer for rape, racism, manipulation, essayed, explicit description. King has come under a lot of fire in the past few days after months of quietly seeking to press charges against King. I'm finally ready to share my own experience as someone who became this close and intimate with him. Below are my receipts. I won't comment too much because unfortunately King really speaks for himself in the screencast. Alright, let me just trace dragon. What is this messenger? Oh, it's Skype. Yo, this is so mega old. Uh-oh, we're actually watching Netflix tomorrow. Are you like real? Because something is up with our account today. Netflix and chill has nothing to do with Netflix at all. King, shut the fuck up. Okay, well, I hope this is a time to generally get to know each other, not just quench thirst, TBH. Hey, both work hand in hand, like Movember. If I make it Friday, may I ask you to not exercise the B part of FWB at Censored Names House? If you want to chill, let's arrange for a different time to do that by ourselves. While I really enjoy it, I'd like to respect Censored Names advice to not make ourselves a meme, especially when 99% chance I'm going with censored name. No, I agree. Sorry about that, by the way. From last time, I was pretty turned too. I was gonna tell you, if you do show up, please don't thirst too much. Oh, it's friends with benefits. So don't exercise the benefit part. So just friends. Dude, you were thirsting way more than me, but I won't. True. Splash Mountain. Okay, this is like a quote from Ha. Journey to Splash Mountain when? So like, I don't want to get on your case, but you drove censored name home. Yo, Tesla's my dream car though. Real talk, lol. It has 2 trunks. I can put Ha in one trunk. JK, that's sexy as fuck. Okay. And conversely, King belittling me constantly to manipulate my self-esteem. There was so much of this in passing conversation. I just copied, pasted the text. Okay, so the King is saying this. Because of that, what you view as a really big deal, a really serious relationship is way lighter than what I do. Yeah, but to me, you're just shooting yourself in the foot because when someone point out that exact point you know you suck at and offers advice, opinion, whatever, instead of just being like, oh yeah, sure, I'll work on it, you get triggered and immediately defend, and you don't defend in a way that tries to self-justify. Instead, you blame others for something that you do yourself, which really bothers me. It's a really bad habit. I self-justify too much. I won't deny it, but at least I do that. I don't ever flip an argument and go like, oh, but you're doing XXX, which makes me feel why it makes this shittier and weird. Okay, we'll come back to it later if it's relevant. Like, is he talking to a minor in DMs and was he an adult at that point? That's basically all we need to know. I told my story to a mutual friend of ours on Facebook in November, right before cutting him off. I chose to portray it this way with all the timestamps intact so people know that it has been happening for a long time. I did not fabricate the story in light of recent events. After AX, I mostly kept in contact with him through Skype and several in person encounters, both privately and at cons. I also became part of his Skype group of close friends, which I will refer to as at G. We sometimes held parties that Kings and I attended together. Ha says it's good that he changed the way he acts with you, but it didn't change his behavior towards the other girls. Really, oh god. Well, just hear me out, and unfortunately, my experience with him is actually pretty explicit. If that makes you uncomfortable, I can spare you the details, but it really shows how far he'd go with his actions. If it's 2015 stuff, not saying that it's irrelevant, why using that now? Well, people dug up this post because of the accusations towards the CEO of Arcane Maid Cafe. People are saying he's a bad guy. 4chan was saying that he's a bad person and he did all these things. And then people were like, where's the proof? So people dig up the Google Doc. The person who made the doc is not the one advertising it now. I'm not lying about anything I'm about to tell you either. I wouldn't lie about this shit. I don't go around telling stupid rumors or making people look bad unless I really feel it's the right thing to do. To inform others for their own safety. For context, I've known King since TohuCon 2014 as an acquaintance because I staffed for it, but I never actually got close to him until this year when Censored Name and I roomed with him. At the time I was 17, still am now, as of this writing, I had a complicated fallout with an ex that I wasn't really over a few months prior. I consider myself a really touchy-feely person with pretty much anyone and also open about my sexuality. I admit that despite all of the things that people said about him being thirsty or a creep, I had a crush on King for a while because he struck me as confident, intelligent guy that I could get along with easily. I allowed him to get close to me physically while we were rooming together, including while he was drunk. He'd flirt with me in front of Censored Name, even saying stuff like, "Can I have Censored Name for the night?" Even asking his longtime friend rooming with us if I could sleep in the same bed with them to spoon. Though in the back of my mind this was immediately extremely creepy to me, I let it happen because I liked him. I thought he was okay. I liked him flirting with me. I liked him petting my head. Okay, I don't want to read this. My account, so this is her telling her story to another friend. I don't want to read how this guy like touched this girl because it's fucking gross, bro. My account of the grape incident sent to a friend on Google Document would still exist with the 11/14/2015 timestamp. Personal details that may identify me have been censored. I had another experience with King that left me feeling absolutely awful. Afterwards, one night of anime in California, 2015, I was raped. The background info: I was attending AC for the entire weekend. I commuted back and forth in the morning and at night, but on the night of day 2, I decided to find crash space. I don't recall all of the reason this happened, but it was partly because I would be shooting that night with a couple of other friends and something stretched that out all of the way to 3 a.m. A friend of mine let me stay in his room and King happened to be staying there as well. The photo shoot really lasted up to 3 a.m. so I didn't get to the room until around 4. I was dead tired. I wanted to sleep. The next morning I had to show up at 8 a.m. Basically, I stripped myself my cosplay stuff and slipped myself in bed with King and tried to fall asleep until he woke up still drunk and began groping me. I told him to stop because I was tired. I only wanted to cuddle, but he wouldn't. He said he knew I wanted, liked it, censored words, and didn't stop even though it did feel kind of good. It felt so violated yet unable to do anything because I was so tired, just wanted to get it over with. God. He got so into it that he decided to move us to a closed off part of the room so we don't wake up the people sleeping in the other bed. He kicked our friend out of the other room, barred out words with me. I don't know what to do. I felt so uncomfortable and violated. Why did their friend leave the room? That's messed up. Don't leave your minor friend alone with a dude, especially not a drunk dude. I tried to just curl up and do nothing and tell him I'm so tired so I could fall asleep, but he kept pushing me, tell me that I did definitely want it. I only slept about an hour before I had to leave for the fashion show. I felt like absolute shit in the morning. Part of me felt used and horribly wrong. Yep, I kept dismissing it because in my head I thought King didn't do anything wrong. I didn't tell him no, and I generally liked some of it, so even if I feel like shit, it must not be my fault. In July 2015, after AX, King acknowledged us as FWBs and that I am 17 years old. Well, thanks, Age is saying work on it. Well, TBH, I think I'm doing pretty good considering the rest of us, but okay. You're fucking 17, don't worry about it. Just ignore the shit I say because I keep forgetting that perspective too. You still have ways to go and you'll be fine, but that's another thing. Our friendship isn't based on me being a fuckboy. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be friends with you just to keep you as a fuck buddy. We were friends before all this. Okay, well, yeah, he basically just admits it there. And all I can say is, unless if I declare you as a girlfriend in a close relationship, or you declare me as your boyfriend, I like to keep it open between us. Basically, friends with benefits, cuddle buddies, whatever you want to call it. I really like you and appreciate your company too. And if I did, I wouldn't waste time. Like I said, I do like people that have feelings, even for the girls I fuckboy around with. Why would I sleep with slash fool around with someone who doesn't give a shit about me and has no attachment to me? Honestly, I didn't even think of the possibility of having a close relationship with you. As much as I'm interested in it, you just sound totally jaded to the idea, so I brushed it off immediately. Well, I mean, 4 to 5 months later, sure, maybe. Right now, no, wait. It killed me to say, hey boys, my girlfriend's 17. Okay, but it's okay to be friends with benefit? That's gross. Okay, well, this is, I guess, the admission, because the rest of the stuff is just her recounting events to somebody else. This is some racist stuff where he's using the N-word. This is all horrible and all, but I have a better question. Has this man changed? Does he still do these things? Has he grown? Is there more proof? Okay, well, I don't know. Fucking with kids is like, I don't think you come back from that though. It's like it's a one and done thing. There shouldn't be, I don't know. I just wouldn't want that in my space. Like, sure, he can change, but I wouldn't want that in my space or anywhere near me, personally. I don't know if he's been charged. That's what I'm curious about. If this is true, he needs to face consequences for it, like jail time, police. July 12th, 2015, I'm bringing up to King that I felt uncomfortable about our encounter at AX because he misled me. Instead of addressing me feeling uncomfortable and taking fault for it as the adult having sex with an underage virgin, he pushes the blame on me, tells me I'm feeling this way because of my ex, and tells me not to be passive aggressive about it. Also, it is a complete lie that he just lied there and that I fired the first shot. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You're an adult, so you need to be responsible. He began to initiate everything we did and made it sound like I'm the one who pushed to have sex with him. In fact, the only reason we got this far was because of his incessant flirting and groping during my weekend stay with him. Okay, so there is proof of that part of the allegation that he's like a rapist, but there's no proof of so far of the other allegations where he's trying to sabotage the maid cafes, the like all the other stuff. The removing an artist watermark on shirt, tried to lie about stealing the artwork, all of that. And also, I guess somebody would need to verify that it is indeed the same dude that's that's behind this event, because I mean, falsely accusing, if there is a mistake in identity, it could be really harmful for a VTuber fan event. So that is my fault. I meant to tell me I still value you. If I didn't, I wouldn't bother you to try to include you in anything and keep you around one night stand. Bye, Felicia. Literally. I know you still value me, but before we messed around, I told you I had feelings for you, and the way you were acting towards me pointed towards reciprocation of that. Again, it'd be a lie to say I didn't have any feelings for you. I feel like I was manipulated into messing around with you. How do you want me to clear that up? You literally asked me to relax with you. I was like, okay. And then you asked me if it was okay to kiss me. And I was like, sure. I mean, like, okay, I'm sorry that I don't feel as intensely about you as you do about me, but I didn't initiate anything with you until after you fired the first shot. I didn't lie there expecting you to do things with me in the first place. I didn't either. And damn, if this was what was on your mind, this is something we should have talked about a long time ago. Just take things as they are and don't brood over them, huh? Maybe it's not just what happened between the two of us that bothers me, but what has happened between you and the other girls in the past, and what may happen in the future. If it changed your morals, then okay, but please don't blame me for manipulating you into doing anything. As I've said, everyone has their own story. King defends Richard Dewey and attacks potential grape victims. Even then, one of them is shaky to me. Rest of them are Bill Cosbying or just full of shit posting for attention. Bill Cosby, dude, Bill Cosby actually did fuck the shit out of people. I don't know why it's problematic with accepting that people do have problems when, by your own admission, there are a few people involved who you think aren't bullshitting. King responds, no, I mean, Bill Cosby did, but I mean, I really dislike people who fake being a victim for money or attention. As for this guy, I don't buy the accusations personally, but he hasn't posted anything, so we shall see. We'll wait for response and evidence. People are quick to jump on, oh, the girl is right, or even how could you question Grape? Of course you can question Grape, gotta get the facts and figure out if it's happened or not. But there isn't really any money or that much attention at stake here. I don't think you've mentioned Grape accusation. I think you've only said that other girls have come forward about him being creepy. King responds, if a girl cries Grape and doesn't submit to a Grape kit at the hospital, doesn't file a police report for instance, that's bullshit, emo, especially when she had the ability to. Like, man, he totally doesn't have... So, are these two different people? Because they're colored differently. Is this two different convos? Like, man, he totally doesn't have a rep that's pretty much pristine, and Golden has a brand that's bigger than almost all of the girls' brand put together because he co-founded Cosplay Photographer and has been on the scene since the 19s and was shooting before they were born. That too. And that daughter he lugs along who knows what he does with her. He's just a sleazy ass bug boy, so sad. What has the cosplay community has become? This is it, boys. Credentials totally don't matter. It's a dangerous place to be with someone who can potentially put a dick in something. Okay, so... But in this convo, he seems to have changed his... Wait, this is on the same day. I'm so confused. In here, he kind of defends the guy. But in here, he says anybody hires anybody nowadays. And the cosplay community has become a dangerous place. And they seem to be referring to a cosplay photographer. TBH, I'm not surprised that a cosplay photographer would do some sleazy stuff with like models. King and Korean girls, yes, undoubtedly a thing. 25 participants in this group chat. Be fucking awesome as part of developing the plot. This part is fucking awesome, but for why? I'm actually surprised King doesn't have a huge photo album of all the Vriska panels and a small handwritten "It's me" at the bottom of all of them. She's competent, independent, and a dick. From hot lol qualities King admires, true qualities I like in Korean girls. Isn't she like super mean? I'm so glad most people don't know about gay stereotype Vriska. Might be voluntold for either League, LA, or UCLA though. Or actually, Jal can volunteer me for UCI too, so I guess I'm fucked one way or the other. It's either do I go for Ernest or do I go for Korean Bay or do I go for jail? Or I can sit here and edit photos that I need to edit while watching Korean girls dance. King blatantly lies about me to mutual underage friends of ours. She's alright, just like Senpai noticed me, you know, I'm too nice to tell her off. Yeah, I get that. That's how I feel about Bar.name, except I don't think they like me romantically. Yeah, she really likes me romantically, and like, I've slept with her, but like... So basically he admits here that he slept with her. Oh damn, around midnight, after cutting all contact with him, lol, Hal leaves my Skype group and blocks me on Facebook. And here he tells friends that I suddenly cut him off, which I did. Sorry, I didn't find you attractive. Stay salty. Just another conversation. Yeah, oh my god. Also, see you've been hanging out with Ha? Yeah. I'd be wary of her. She came off as really dangerous and unstable to me. Kind of why I cut things off with her. But in this other conversation, he admits that she's the one that left the Skype group and blocked him. And my nickname are censored for a long time. Also, I'd rather change censored words. My page is also censored too. Lol, nice. Okay. And this is proof that Hop blocked him. There wasn't proof that he did this with other cosplay girls, though, in this document. But there is proof that he took advantage of an underage girl. Yeah. I wonder if he ever did a response to this. My friendship with King has affected me so severely from everything he's done to me. He kept me from attending so-called conventions and events because just seeing him triggers panic attacks. I couldn't even stay in the LACC longer than it took to pick up my WonderCon badge because I was afraid to run into him. He didn't even announce he'd be attending WonderCon. It put doubt in my confidence, body image, and ability to cosplay. He spread lies about me in an attempt to make me look like I'm stalking him and obsessed with him. What he did to me at AC has left me with a diagnosed grape-related PTSD and anxiety and a fear of cosplay photographers, even men in general. He took away what I loved and felt no regret leaving all of this as my reality. If you are reading this and have also been victimized by King, please reach out to me. I will do everything in my power to help you and support you. I'm doing this not just for myself, but to break your silence. I don't want King to be irreparably damage someone like this ever again. There's no turning back time or powerful wishes to fix what happened to me. Nobody in this community deserves to be heard doing a hobby that's supposed to be about taking a break from reality to have fun and be yourself. This is like a horrible situation. I'm literally messed up. King aka Trace Wyvern. So is this actually the guy behind this event? We don't know this for sure, do we? Drew is mentioned though. Andrew Kim, aka Drew, DLN, Drew last name. King Lin, aka Trace Wyvern. Okay, it's a Facebook thing. I don't know if I want to click on that. Oh! Oh! Okay, wait. This guy in the Google Doc is not the guy that's Andrew Kim. Andrew Kim is known for allowing a known rapist, King Lin, which is this guy, and Andrew's Kim best friend, to continue being the photographer and marketing assistant for Arcane Maid Cafe. Even after several of his maids came forward, including some that were minors at the time, and allowed King Lin to continue having access to them via DM and through events where the NFS CEO Andrew Kim allowed King Lin to continue working at Arcane Cafe because they were best friends. Okay, so now we know who this King Lin person is, and he's allegedly best friend with this Andrew Kim guy, which is the CEO of Anyfest, and also allegedly in charge of Arcane Maid Cafe. Oh, I know that cafe. Maid Say covered the shady history of them. It's known in the cosplay world in LA. That's what I was thinking, because from what people are saying here, it sounds like you'd have to be in that community of cosplayers in the California area to know about this. Look at her Instagram. They tried to take down their Instagram account several times? Is this her account? She's cute. Oh, I see it. You mean this? Anifest/Arcane. For the past X years, Drew has never been held accountable. There were some call-out posts here and there, but he would just hide behind the cute head maids of Arcane and wait till it dies down. Some people say I shouldn't talk about this, but what is my alternative? Shut my mouth and let this man continue to sabotage my business, my passion, ruin the community and maid culture that's literally my life now? No, this is Drew. This is about Drew, which is King Lin, which is apparently the friend working at the Arcane Maid Cafe as a marketing assistant and a photographer, and he's been harassing allegedly some of the maids there, who've reported this to the head of the Arcane Maid Cafe, who hasn't done anything about it. So apparently the Arcane Maid Cafe has been going after this other maid cafe and trying to sabotage her business. Yeah, True is King Lin's friend, allegedly. There was a website covering more stuff, but it was taken down. Yo, what is this rabbit hole? We need to speak of somebody within the community. Yeah, the yellow text is hard to read, but don't worry, I got you, fam. Sharing again from Weeaboo Wonderland. If ALA doesn't take action, we may have to escalate this to public comments under the recent post. Wondering if they're just waiting for it to blow over. 1. Contact at Anime Los Angeles and recommend that they partner with a different SoCal maid cafe. 2. Avoid lining Drew's pockets by not purchasing a ticket to Anifest. 3. Don't purchase food from Arcane Cafe booths. They only get paid in tips and a ticket to the event. Okay, this is just this is the same screenshot from that Fortune post that we saw. A lot of people might be wondering, bans, bots, accounts taken down. A lot of maid accounts have been taken down or hacked over the past few months, and it is a rumor that it might be the owner of Arcane because, well, it's only ex-Arcane maids that get falsely reported and hacked into. And Asayuru themselves too, but that's probably because Arcane is scared because Asayuru is amazing and isn't afraid to be real and stand up for girls. Love them. But this is a post from somebody else, from Jamie Chan, somebody named Jamie Chan. In January, a week after the event of ALA, many of my accounts, my Instagram, my Twitter, my Amazon, yes, they bought something and it was delivered to an awfully close location to the owner's house. It was an $800 laptop. I got my monies back though. My Steam account and my email. The one thing these all shared were that they had the same password as the password I used for Arcane. Sus, right? All my other accounts with different passwords were fine, even more sus. Then I found out ex-Arcane maids were reported and taken down for no reason from Asayoru. Interesting. All the other maids were fine. It was just the ex-Arcane maids that got taken down. Yo, this is fucked up! What is this maid cafe shady business? These are all rumors that it is the owner of Arcane doing all of this, but it's just very suspicious. All ex-Arcane. Yeah, somebody, like, there's like a maid cafe war, but it's one-sided. It's one maid cafe that allegedly is targeting another maid cafe and targeting their ex-maids. It's like the maid cafe mafia. Say's the owner of the other maid cafe, which is called. So this person is saying that she used to work at Arcane Maid Cafe and that she had the same password as she used for her Arcane Maid Cafe account, but that her all of the accounts that shared this password got hacked into, and there was even an $800 laptop that was purchased. But then what she says, what is extremely suspicious, is that all of her other accounts with different passwords were fine. Only the accounts which shared the password with her Arcane Maid Cafe account got hacked into. After that, she says, I found out that X Arcane Maids were reported and taken down for no reason from Asayoru. Interesting, all the other maids were fine, it was just the Arcane Maids that got taken down. These are all rumors that it is the owner of Arcane doing all this, but it's just very suspicious. All ex-Arcane, he has bots, I've seen them. There are computers in his house that do weird things, that are doing weird things constantly on their own, and I've talked to other people and I keep hearing about this story. What could those computers be doing? I mean, this is one person's account, there's no really evidence of the computers and bots and all of that. This is one person retelling of their hacked account experience. This part sounds more credible than the computer bot. You wouldn't need multiple computers to run bots. Jamie Chan has another story. Personal story. I wanted to share this also because I was a part of this when it happened and it is my truth. I remember that back in December, I was having dinner with the owner and head of Arcane, and I mentioned to them that Asayoru was doing a cool thing of opening a location and they just hit their Kickstarter goals. He at first says he doesn't care what others do, but by the end of dinner, which I end up paying for all of us, I chose to because I saw he got upset when I said I didn't have cash and didn't want to have drama. He doesn't use digital cash because he thinks it's scams. And then at the end of dinner, he says we are going to do a Kickstarter for Arcane to open a store. I told him it's probably was a bad idea because Asayoru is doing this and will open, and he said he didn't care because they won't do it right. Next week, me and this other maid were asked to help with starting up the Kickstarter, which had a goal of $20,000 and launching in March. Asayoru had a goal of $10,000 but got $15,000. They were launching in March as well. When you are part of Arcane, you will be told that all the other cafes are haters and that everyone's attacking Arcane, which is completely untrue. Other cafes want nothing to do with Arcane because they're scared that Arcane will attack them. I think it's very telling that maid cafes are close to one another and Arcane is by itself. Just think about it. What Asayoru went through and is going through is not okay. Just last week their account got taken away again. This is not okay. Please follow all backups. Okay, so the Asayoru account was taken down. And remember to take screenshots of your setting and turn to a Phaon. Okay, next. Made Jamie's full post. So this is Jamie Chan, the girl who made those posts. My Arcane Maid Cafe story and end. This has been a long time waiting, but here it goes. Yeah, the next story link was taken down, but basically said Arcane business license was suspended, and there was a theory the owner was giving the money to one specific maid and ruined of attempting to recruit others, but were minors. What the fuck? Story from ex-Arcane maid Jamie. As we all drove home, the maids and I ended up talking for the first time ever. At Arcane, there is a rule that says, this is taken from the website, infractions. Depending on the severity of the infraction, the members will be written up, the rank suspended from future events, or removed from the chance to reapply again. Sharing of one's social media to other members of the cafe. Fraternization with staff members or guests. Adding following, asking to be followed on social media to other members of the cafe. Unapproved self-promotion. Not following the general rule and regulation. Staffers ranked senpai maids and above are exempt from these rules, meaning we cannot be friends outside of the cafe. I believe this rule is so that no one connects dots together and start seeing the full picture. The three of us are able to talk about concerns as for a long time we all have seen a lot of red flags but choose to ignore them. The two maids were there with me through the whole thing, so they were able to see it play out and how I was treated also. We started piecing the pieces of what Arcane really is and the history of it and felt overwhelmed. It felt like we finally saw all the red flags waving and telling us to stop. Woke up this morning to an overwhelming amount of support. I wanted to say thank you for hearing me out and supporting me. I'm super worried about the new Arcane maids who will no doubt be used and tossed like before, which was why I was so angry when I saw a recruitment post. I know draining a maid cafe is a dream, but many, and I'd hate for scum like Drew Kim to taint that. Please be aware and careful. Yeah, Drew Kim is the... Okay, yeah, he's the owner of Arcane Maid. This is Maid underscore Aki. Hello, Drew from Arcane Maid Cafe is once again stirring up some problems. After Sumi has spoken out, please report this fake account. They have done this before and will likely do it again. For more information, check out the Anifis warning story highlight on at DFM Say's profile. Like clockwork, so predictable, go focus on paying your maids instead of, oh wait, I forgot you don't pay your workers. I don't understand the screenshot. It's totally Akiba. Oh, it's about 3 years. A bit more than 3 years. Rima Maid Jamie has another full docky in there. Holy dude. Wait, I don't understand this story though. This account has 15k followers. Is it like an impersonation account? Did he buy the bots? Holy wall of text. Okay. Akiba Maid Cafe Wars recommended. Everybody wants me to watch this anime. Hi everyone. I'm not really sure how to start this off as I am a terrible typer and I'm also still very frazzled about what happened this past week. This was a week after ALA. But I wanted to put my story out there so nothing gets mixed up or rumors start spreading. For me, the reason I joined Arcane was to make friends and have fun. So Jamie is the maid that was doing these stories. That was an ex-worker at Arcane who allegedly got hacked. I'm also the type of person to stand up for what I believe is right. I live my life around the idea of do what's best for me and I won't regret, because when I start to regret something, it eats me alive. Arcane is something that is very close to my heart because I feel like I put my 100% into it. Everything I did was because I wanted to, and I never expected anything in return except to have fun with others. I worked so hard so that I could make others smile and to take some of the hard work off of other people. The meeting in question was a former employee. She had a lot of followers and is part of the Asayoru Maid Cafe. The account was impersonating the account. Oh, okay, got it. Thank you. September, December. As you all may or may not know, I've been volunteering for Arcane since October 1, 2021. October 1st, 2021. Notice how she said volunteering and not like working there, because I guess they're not paying their maids. That was my first event at a 626 night market. I stayed for all 3 days from start to finish. I would come 1-2 hours early before the event started and left 1-2 hour after the event ended because I would stay to help clean up. I chose to do this because I want to have a lot of fun. I fell in love with being a maid because I got to interact with people and make them smile by small talk of what can I get you. By the way, I love your Demon Slayer shirt. Is that your favorite anime? I've always had a lot of anxiety when talking to people and started conversation. Many of my friends know that I'm unable to start a conversation with people because I get really self-conscious and I feel like they do not want to be approached or do not want to talk. I know myself personally, I get super uncomfortable when someone random comes up to me and talks to me. Example, people hand out flyers on the street. Even as I type this, my heart is pounding because I don't even know if people want to read this. I'm someone who's always very self-conscious, and I've been bullied throughout my life. 626 was an amazing experience because I saw how hard the staff was working and wanted to take the pressure off of them. I saw that we were running out of things, so I would run to the store and pick up items and pay out of pockets because I didn't care. As long as the people around me were okay, I was okay. I remember and laughed on the Sunday, last day of the event, because it was only 3 of us, 2 in the kitchen and 1 in the front. Asking people what would they like to order for 6 hours straight was tiring but really fun. I feel like it was an experience that bonded 3 of us together and I felt super accomplished. After the first event, I knew this was something that I needed in life as it was a good change of pace along with something I believed in. As time went on, I went to every single Arcane event and opportunity that presented itself. I wanted Arcane to grow. I wanted to grow our community so that people could feel the love that I did. There are so many little things about Arcane that I grew to love because of the hard work. I enjoyed working anywhere in Arcane because no matter how hard the work was, we made it fun. In the front end, we made it fun by making jokes and small talks with guests. When you interact with guests and point out small things about them, necklaces they're wearing, the food they're holding, small things that you point out that makes them feel special because they think, wow, someone cares and someone noticed. For me personally, I know it takes me hours to choose what I want to wear, and when someone notices, it makes me feel confident. I love working in the kitchen because you would build a strong connection with the people you work with. I will always remember being super tired and my feet having blisters and my leg almost giving out, but we would still shake the drinks with our whole body and make it cute because you never know who was watching. I wanted to give people the full maid experience because the food was very overpriced. My own consciousness was like, give them the full maid experience at least. Wait, so you guys are saying that usually it's all volunteer work? How though? You're literally working. It's like being a barista or like a waitress. It's just that you're dressed up and you're performing. I'm pretty sure the maids in Japan are paid. Oh, if it's at an anime convention, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. I could see how. I know I've heard that conventions largely rely on volunteers' work. At first, I was really uncomfortable with middle house and table side because I was unconfident in my ability to be cute. I know I'm not a perfect person, but I felt like that was a lot of what people were expecting from maids. Saw the maids around me and felt like I think the guests would rather be served by a better looking, more maid-like maid. I know I wasn't the best at art. There was sometimes someone asked for a dog, but they got a clown instead. Wait, so they asked for drawings too? But every time I realized people just want to laugh. I'm a streamer myself, so I realized being a maid was like streaming, where people just want to be entertained, and I found that doing the moi kun stuff was not my style. But I made it myself by adding comments like, "Congrats, your food now has the power of God," and anime on its side, and they would laugh. Anime Los Angeles. Leading up to ALA. I was really looking forward to it. I missed the rush I got from when I was working at 626 and OC Japan Fair. SDC and Genshin Cafe was fun, but it was different from the other events. I really enjoyed just being able to work hard for the cafe. I was really looking forward to being back in the front of the house or the back of the house again. Okay, she's just super excited. For ALA, we were going to be doing a performance and we planned a in-person practice before the event so that we could hang out and also learn together. This was Thursday, December 30th. Me and 3 other maids met up to practice, and this is where they asked me if it was okay with doing the Kickstarter. I told them I was not comfortable doing it because I didn't enjoy selling things and I would be really bad at it. I also do not ever ask for money for donation as that is against my morals. I'm the type of person that always gives money away. I was going to donate money to the Kickstarter to help support it. I believe if someone believes in it, they will donate. No need to ask yourself. I also personally feel very uncomfortable when people ask me to give to charities when they stand in front of grocery stores. I will go around them and avoid them. Okay, so she just doesn't want to do the Kickstarter. I believe that saying I was not comfortable would be enough for me to get put somewhere else, plus I felt like I was really good at all the other jobs, but that was not the case. The next day I was told that I was going to be on the Kickstarter still. The next 3 days was really depressing for me. I was really not okay and my anxiety was acting up because of the idea of doing the Kickstarter. I also struggled with saying no, so it took me a while to build up the courage to let them know again how uncomfortable it was making me. So even typing this now is making me tear up as I remember how I was feeling in a moment. This is how the conversation went. Hey Jamie, I've discussed with Censored Name and we thought you were the only best candidate for manning the Kickstarter and merch station, so it'll be a great help if you can manage the area for the duration of the event. Don't worry about that you have to sell or anything, just be yourself and casual about it. Honestly, I really don't feel comfortable with it. I was really looking forward to working front end, honestly, because I was really enjoyed it at 626 and OC Japan Fair. When I saw that's what I had next to my name at first, I was super excited, and since I found out I'm doing a Kickstarter, I've been feeling really weird because I don't enjoy doing the Kickstarter. After I sent this, I was ignored for a while, and then I saw that on the IG story of Arcane, when they sent it to close friends early, that they were printing out prints for people because they got a nice printer. I thought it would be cool if we could print stickers, as personally I would never sell a poster or print of myself, but I would sell stickers of emotes that my community made for me. This is when I reached out to another person and this is how that conversation went. I know I misunderstood one part of the convo, but I was emotional and felt really confused on why it was such a big issue for me to have to be at the merch Kickstarter station. I will link it with another dot because it's very long. She literally sounds like the main character of a Maid themed anime. I know! With the allegations of trying to have minors to be made suspended business license and creepy employees, not the maids, I think the reason why it needs to be exposed. Yeah, there needs to be more proof though, and some awareness, because if those things are true, the VTubers and the fans, they don't know about these allegations. Okay, this is just the continuation of the like, can you do the merch Kickstarter section? Basically, they're like, you have to do this because of a policy, or you can just come to ALA. And Jamie's like, so I'm not allowed to help out with Arcane just because I don't want to do a Kickstarter and sell merch? I'm perfectly okay with any other position. And the person says, no, you can come and visit a cafe and hang out, but we have a very specific role and position for staff because our plans are to train and get them acquainted with those positions. We've locked down front, middle, back house staff a while ago, I need to delegate other key areas and tasks to more of the experienced staff who already have seen or been through those areas. You're not the only person who's requesting role change, yada yada. We make exception for everyone, then we'll have 90% front house and no one in middle house. I said I'm fine with middle and back house anywhere but Kickstarter. I was going to come Wednesday and help set up. In other words, making exceptions right now will truly cause an existential threat to the stability of what we're trying to do at ALA, and this is not hyperbole or exaggeration. That's understandable, just trying to understand the logic of not letting me help out because I don't want to do the Kickstarter. I didn't say you were inexperienced, I'm saying that we need those positions to be filled by inexperienced persons so we can delegate. The merchandise table and Kickstarter are new positions, so we're trying to expand to those territories. I understand the importance of needed position to be filled and delegated out, but I did not ever say it was okay for me to be selling. I told Bar.name at dance practice that I was not okay with the merchant Kickstarter position. Okay, in that case, would it be okay if you come as guest at the cafe? Obvious, no one wants to force anyone to do anything. Coming as a guest to the cafe hurts me because I know I work hard and put all of my everything into Arcane because I enjoy working with everyone. Okay, the other person is like, no, you're not being singled out. This is a major issue and it's happening with other people. And we all have to make uncomfortable sacrifices right now. And Jamie's like, I'm doing this for the friends. I'm skipping out on making content. I spend pocket money for Arcane. And I just want things to be okay. Like, she just wants to do this. I signed up to be a maid, not to be a salesperson. I'm sorry if I'm getting emotional, but Arcane was like a second home for me in the community. I was going to fly back and forth from Texas and California every month so I could help out with Arcane stuff. I'm okay with working any position but Kickstarter/merch. Okay, here's the bottom line. I know you were very kind in providing a lot for the staff, but please do it with no expectation in returns, and moving forward suggest maintaining some distance so you don't feel used or taking too much care of any staff. We never ask anyone to provide rides, stays, food, etc. As for the $200, we can comp you for that. We're very happy to have you on board, supporting and putting in a lot of heart into it, but again, we cannot under any circumstance make exemptions. I have to work on loading the truck right now, so I will be offline. Jamie's like, no, I've never felt used or expect anything in return. It's just that I did it so because I wanted to. Would I be able to just kind of float around and help out where I think I might need help? Kind of how it was at previous events where I kind of just filled in whenever I needed help. She didn't get an answer, so then finally she's like, you know what, I'll do the Kickstarter as long as I have someone doing it with me. I want to apologize for getting really emotional. It kind of felt like I was unwanted, so it hurt a lot. Okay, back to the doc. I mean, it's like free labor. Can they put her anywhere else? Anyway, so after the conversation, I was left on red, and then I replied to by the first person again. So she reached out again saying, hey, I just wanted to reach out to make sure everything is okay between us. I got really emotional yesterday. I'm sorry if it seemed aggressive or emotional. I hope we can still have fun. And the other person responded, yes, everything's still alright with everyone. It's okay. Let's make the best out of it and still have fun. I thought that maybe if I went more in depth about why I didn't feel comfortable, they wouldn't understand, but as you can see, I was dismissed and ignored and left on red. I was worried I did something wrong. Alright, let's get to the real accusations. I believe that we were friends, which is why I opened up about my anxieties. The idea of not going to ALA or not being able to work at a maid cafe made me really sad. So I kind of just gave in and prayed that it wouldn't be too bad. Wednesday came and went, and I went to help with the setup. I was told that setup would be at 2 p.m, but when me and this other maid got there, they were basically finished, so it was really awkward too because I waved hello to the two people I was DMing, but one kind of ignored me, and the other one just small talked to me because they knew they were busy. Thursday came, and my anxiety was really getting to me. The maids were super nice. We got there a little late, but when I got there, it was kind of dismissive again, kind of just floated around and waited until someone called me over. One of the guests wanted to get a photo of all the maids in a purple uniform, but one of the maids were working to the front, so I offered to cover in the front for 5 minutes real quick, and she took her picture. I thought the process was like usual, so I did what I usually did, but then I heard someone on the walkie-talkie in front of me, heard the word someone else, POS, and cash. Because of how busy it was, it didn't occur to me that it meant, so I thought this was for someone else, but then I was asked by Bergen, the DM person, to go train for merch Kickstarter. So she went over to learn Kickstarter. About 20 minutes into learning the Kickstarter merch, one of the other mates came over and asked if I could cover her in the front because she was asked to go in the back. She was told grab anyone, and she chose me because I was the only other person who wasn't busy that knew how to do the front. The maids have seen me work in the front a lot, so I was trusted by them. And then I saw that there was a sticker on the computer saying no cash orders in the POS, and it clicked in my head that I made a mistake. I then immediately went to the maid that asked me to help and asked her about it. She told me not to put it in the system and to write down on a pen and paper. My guess was that so they can keep the money and hide the money so they wouldn't have to give 40% to the convention center. I now knew that I messed up, but I was ready to redeem myself, but only 1 minute up there she came back and said, "I'm so sorry, but he said anyone but Jamie." And I asked why, and she didn't know. I was really overwhelmed and was feeling nauseous, so I walked to the Kickstarter and one of the maids asked what was wrong, and I ended up just breaking down. I had to just run to the bathroom to throw up and cry. After letting myself calm down, I collected myself and head back out. I tried acting as normal as I could, and while help was talking to regular guests. The guests and maids around me made me feel so much better because we were short on staff, and I ended up helping out the whole area. I was able to do a lot of table side and middle house. Okay, there's a lot of like extra details that are making the thing a little confusing. Was manning the Kickstarter and merch table for me because she knew how uncomfortable it made me. The day went by pretty quickly, but there was one point where I was doing the middle house, table side, and running to Kickstarter merch when someone would ask about it. It was only 2 of us for about 3 hours. The day ended and I ended up staying because it became a habit for me to stay till the end. Even though we were dead tired from the day, we still practiced our dance routine and helped clean up the booth. In the end, there were 4 maids left, all veteran maids, and we were discussing how today went. Then there was a topic brought up about a lack of training, so the idea of the buddy system, one-on-one training, was brought up. Unfortunately, the maid who was in charge of the front was not going to be there tomorrow, so there wasn't anyone to train the front end person. The maid in charge then asked the maid in charge in charge of the back house to train both the front and the back. I then offered to train the front person really quickly so that we could help out more, as there was a maid coming tomorrow who was already a pro at the merch table. She then said I should be in charge of the merch table. I told her I was more comfortable table side and I did really well today, so maybe I could help train table side and she could help train in front since she didn't want me training in the front. She kind of then dismissed the question and told me she doesn't understand why I can do the front and talk to people but not the Kickstarter merch. And then I let her know that I had a breakdown today and I was not sure I should be trusted with merch tomorrow. I didn't see this myself, but one of the maids saw that as I was mentioning my mental health and comfortably, the maid was blinking a lot and rolling her eyes. That didn't sit well with me as I am a person who values mental health a lot. She then said she would talk to the head person about it. We then disperse and we all see the 2 of them talking. After a while I'm called aside and I and the head person talk about the situation. Who's the head person though? Is it the guy? What he says makes sense because what he said is that because I'm a core maid, I'm expected to be able to do anything and everything. I then explained because I really did not feel comfortable, the reasoning behind not being comfortable, which is extremely personal, and he says, I don't care. As a core staff member, you are expected to do it. Which is when I drew a line and I said, what if I don't step down from being a core staff member? Would I be able to just do table side like everyone else then? He then said he had no issue at all and the conversation ended well. I pack up my things and start to head out. I am the other 2 maids' ride because I didn't want one to Uber home at 12 a.m. We walk to the car and when I sit down, I get a message from the head staff member saying, hey Jamie, please come tomorrow as an attendee. And she says, what does it mean? So I guess they don't want her to be volunteering anymore. I replied with something short and simple as I was done with all the BS and I was feeling really overwhelmed and emotional. As we all drove home, the maids and I ended up talking for the first time ever. At Arcane there's a rule that says, and this is taken from the website, we read that earlier, that they're not allowed to add each other on social media or like fraternize outside of at the cafe. Yeah, these are volunteers. I know, he's treating them like they're paid employees. I mean, if you're making people work for free, there should be like good vibes, you know? Everybody should be getting along and it needs to be positive. Like, people's spirit is really important. I need that Jamie manga MC. This is adorable. Yeah, she's very endearing. She's like very, she's very emotional and cute, but like I could, I could see this working in an anime. Meaning we cannot be friends outside of the cafe. I believe this is a rule so that no one connects the dots together and starts seeing the full pictures. The 3 of us are finally able to talk about our concern for a long time, and we all have seen a lot of the red flags but chose to ignore them. The 2 maids were there with me through the whole thing, so they were able to see it and play it out and how I was treated also. We started piecing the pieces of what Arcane really is and the history of it and felt overwhelmed. They were super supportive and said they would spend the day with me tomorrow. They were still unsure what they wanted to do, but no matter what decision anyone made, we would be supportive. When I got home, I was really depressed, so when I got to bed, I couldn't sleep. I had so much on my mind that I was tossing and turning. I used to work in IT and I used to be a big K-pop fan, so I knew how to search things up. I remember when I first joined Arcane Cafe, asked another maid from another cafe why they chose, I don't know, blank cafe over Arcane, and she replied, Arcane is super exclusive and is ran by someone not really respected in the cosplay community, but you didn't hear that from me. It's basically super messy, and if you look at some of the rules for maids on their website, like not able to be friends with each other, basically amongst other things, I prefer a maid cafe run by a veteran maid. I see, I didn't know that. Yeah, I was onboarded as a maid at Arcane. I kind of just waiting for something and the rest is censored. So her friend is also telling her that it's kind of shady. Again, I ignored the red flags and moved forward because I didn't like listening to rumors and wanted to give it a shot. I reached out because it was a month since I got accepted into Arcane, but they didn't say anything to me at all, and I was getting anxious to get started. I decided to Google because my mind went back to this message with this person. I Googled Arcane Cafe, name of the owner. It took me to 4chan and well, I found a lot of scary things. I know I shouldn't believe everything I read online, but there was evidence. I felt really uncomfortable because of someone who was cheated on by my ex, who was also essayed before, and who also has mild dyslexia. I threw up. All these things just made me disgusted with myself, and I didn't know any of these things I was helping them. Even if they were rumors. I wonder if but was she in contact with that photographer slash marketing person that raped the girls? Even if there were rumors, some of it wasn't, as there was evidence. Okay, so she says that some of the rumors didn't have evidence, though. She probably saw that Google Doc that we read. Because I saw my face next to some of the things said, I was not okay with all of that. And then I reached out to the maids that were working the next day and let them know to be careful. Also, I will not be there tomorrow because I'm not allowed to. I'd love to fill you guys in tomorrow on what happened, but just know that whatever happens tomorrow, I do not feel like you need to step up. I know you guys don't know me well yet, but I want to make sure you guys do not get treated unfairly or unappreciated like I did. But don't mention my name or anything. It was never my intention to get them to quit. I wanted to make sure that people made their own decisions about what they wanted to do. My goal was just to make people aware of what they were getting themselves into. I would hate for anybody to work as hard as I did just to be tossed aside like I was nothing. I would also hate for anyone to get hurt. The rumors are scary if they're true, and that's even more frightening. I'm even scared of my life right now as I write this because I was told by other peoples as I was walking around the convention that the person in charge is owned for driving up to people's house, slashing their tires, and threatening people that go against the cafe, which could be all rumors, but still, he knows my address and my real name, so this is why I'm not making the document public until I move away. On Saturday, I was beginning to heal as I was hanging out with amazing people around the con, and then I found out that one of the people was spreading a rumor about me. Rip. This is a message of James Rip is now spreading rumors about me, saying I'm telling the initiates and the maids to quit to bring Arcane down, and saying that I volunteered to help out with the Kickstarter. And then when Thursday came, I said I didn't want to do it and quit. I feel so hurt right now. I wrote it down right away so I could keep track of the exact words. This hurts me a lot because I thought we were friends. I wasn't going to say anything, honestly. So one of the maids that she messaged this to blabbed. So she was planning to ghost the cafe. As my confidence was dying, I was going to tell initiates and new maids the same thing I told the maids on Friday. I just wanted to warn people there were things out there that you could potentially get associated with that you might not be okay with regardless if it's true or not, and that to remember to have fun. Joining a maid cafe is supposed to be fun and is supposed to be about making friends. I think it's important to be reminded of that. I'm not anti-arcane or anything. Just want my story to be shared. There's so much more to say and share as I've learned so much talking to people in this industry, but I will keep the story as this for now. My DMs are always open if you have questions. I really did believe in them. March 31st update. Before today, I never thought I could share the story as I put it behind me, but after seeing one of the maids stand up for herself, it has given me the courage to properly end my Arcane saga. Many people still ask me about Arcane, and I think I am part of it to this day. I've learned after talking with many people in the maid, cosplay, and anime community that many girls and guys get taken advantage of because of their love for anime, which is why I want to continue to let others know to do their research before doing something. I have no issue at all if people still want to support and be a part of organizations that are sketchy, as it's their decision. The most I can do is make sure they're safe. Have you ever wondered why almost no maid has stayed longer in Arcane except the head maid for longer than a few months? There are reasons for everything, and all you need to do is research. I've been afraid for the past few months of speaking up, but I think I found my voice. I encourage everyone to do their research and ask questions always. My DMs will always be open to share any questions people may have. Dude, but she should have put the whole hacking incident in there, because this is just like volunteering, taking advantage of. But there was bigger claims at stake. I thought all of the con stuff that was gonna be set up for her, like getting fired and then the owner harassing her and then trying to hack into her account, which I guess we got in the story, but we're missing pieces of information and it's missing some evidence. Of course, this is like one person's perspective. It's interesting. I'm not dismissing it at all. But I'm not gonna take everything at face value either. But there seems to be, you know, it's kind of like when there's smoke, there's fire. There seems to be a lot of smoke around that place. It'd be worth looking into it further. I know, we started from a barely noticed tweet and we found all this shit just because somebody came into the chat and pointed us to. They're from the community. This has been the rabbit hole of all time. Like, this is, hi, KNO, how you doing? This is, somebody needs to write this manga. That's it. Yeah, it's not a good kind of smoke either. Honestly, if there is more like legible information, I would, if there is like a lot more meat to this story, I would not be against making a video about it, because this is the kind of stuff that I think could make an interesting video. Because there's something about an organization that's like super cute, super idol-like, super moe, that's supposed to be fun, and then something like very dark and nefarious going on in the background that I kind of like this contrast. But also it's like, what the fuck? Maid Cafe Mafia Wars. Like, I don't know. Hey, you! Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button, and I'll see you in the next video.